Today, we're making this orange pound cake. Delicious, nutritious, it's lactose-free, it's gluten-free. You gotta try it. Hi guys, welcome back to Bread and Butter. I have a kind of a sore throat, or like my voice is disappearing, so bear with me. This is what I'm gonna sound like for the next, 5 to 10 minutes. Today, we're making a gorgeous orange pound cake. Now, when recipes call for oranges, we usually use just the zest and the juice. But today, I told you it's a special cake. We're actually gonna use almost the entire orange. So we're gonna use the zest, the juice, and also the pulp. Almost zero waste. We're using a few quite basic ingredients, and all you have to do is just kind of throw them into a blender one by one, and it basically cooks itself. So what do we need? We need some almond flour. Now, if you can't get almond flour where you're at, what you can do, and I've tried this many times, is you can just get cashews. They tend to blend up really easily. You just throw them into a blender, and then you pulse them. And the thing is, you have to be really careful, because first you'll grind them into like a fine flour, but if you hold them in there a bit too long, they will turn into butter. So watch it closely, and it won't put a lot of stress on your blender. It's quite fast, quite easy, so almond flour can easily be substituted by, for example, cashew flour. Here I have some coconut flour. It's not gonna lend the cake itself like a coconutty flavor, but what this does is it absorbs a lot of the moisture, and we will have a lot of moisture because we are using whole oranges. And I have some baking powder. Then we're gonna use 6 eggs. You know, a lot of you might think, oh my God, that's a lot of eggs. Is it gonna taste eggy? No, you're not gonna taste the eggs at all, but they do add a lot of protein, and the yolk is what we're gonna use for fat, because we're not using any butter or any oil in this recipe. And we need some sugar. Now, I'm using xylitol, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like a sugar substitute, but you can use monk fruit, you can use any other sweetener, or just plain sugar. And as always, below in the description, you have the full recipe. So how many grams of like almond flour, coconut flour you will need. So what we're gonna do now, and this is really simple, we're gonna zest the oranges first, then we're gonna peel them. And after that, it's super plain. We're just gonna throw everything into the blender and mix up the dough. And I've preheated my oven to 160 degrees. Let's get cooking. You might be wondering why I crack my eggs into a bowl first and then throw them into the blender. The reason is sometimes, rarely, but sometimes you get a bad egg and you don't want to kind of throw it in immediately and ruin all of the dough. Or if you crack in the egg and you get a little bit of eggshell, you can always remove it and then add the egg into the blender. We're almost done. We're just going to add all the other dry ingredients and start cooking. I'm hungry. Look at this guy. Absolutely gorgeous, stunning. Now you might be thinking, what was that syrup that she was pouring over it? So I have this treat that I like to make. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to share this recipe. It's these absolutely stunning orange slices that I drown in chocolate, and then I sprinkle some sea salt on top. And when I make these, I'm left with a beautiful orange syrup. Now what I did was, when I finished with these guys, I threw in some sage leaves. This stuff smells so good. Look at these beautiful leaves. They're just like super soft to the touch, and they add such a flavor to the syrup. Sometimes I add sage, sometimes rosemary, and I'm left with this amazing syrup, which I use for my cocktails. I'm a big fan of like an orange sage whiskey sour. Again, let me know in the comments if you want me to share the recipe. And I pour, oh God, I almost fell. Sorry about that. And I poured some of this syrup on top. Do you have to do it? No, trust me, this guy, look at it. On its own, amazing. It has a great balance of sweetness, that zest gives it so much flavor. Let's give it a try. Look at that, just look at it. So good. It's one of my favorite things to make. Very simple, very basic, very healthy. So the eggs give it a lot of protein. The yolks have a lot of good, healthy fats. We're using almond flour. Again, healthy fats. And then we have so much fiber because we're using the pulp of the oranges. Again, you can substitute the oranges maybe for grapefruits if you want like a more kind of sour note. You can use clementines. Maybe you can go crazy and use a lemon, but that might be really sour. But this is really good. You have to try it. And if you do, please, please, please comment below. Let me know if you like the recipe. Let me know if you like to cook with almond flour. I do. I'm going to enjoy this. You can totally sprinkle different nuts on top, but I love these almond slices. It just makes it look so pretty. This is great.